Here's the set we've been using for cool downs in class, but it also works very well first thing in the morning or right before bed. I'm going to start combing back the hair, whatever you've got, with the fingertips, front to back, dredging scalp gently. And then covering the ears with the palms, just tapping at the base of the head, the occipital region. We can even run our thumbs from the base of the head out over the two thick mounds of muscle into the hollows there. Chin back a little bit, helps open up that area. Gently press, relax, and release the shoulders. Then reaching across the body to the back of the neck. Pull from back to the front. I can turn my head a little bit. So as I reach back, turn away, and then look to the front as I pull to the front. Try to lead that twist down through the neck and into the uppermost part of the back and chest. So I feel it right along the tops of the shoulder blades, right under the collarbones. Just the weight of my arm is enough to put a little drag there, help release any excess. I'm going to clap the opposite shoulder. That big bone at the base of the neck. 7th cervical vertebra. Clap the other shoulder. Upper shoulder, the trapezius muscle. Then press down the outside of the arm, and then wiping up the inside, down the outside and up the inside. This is considered the counterflow direction. So it's good for dispersing excess, draining it out through the fingertips, relieving that tension, excess fullness all the way up from the neck. So imagine the weight of the arm again, exerting a little pull and drag, feel it reaching all the way up to the head. Turning my palm down, expose the back of the arm, turning the palm up, expose the inside of the arm. Then lightly knocking the chest with relaxed fists, the sternum, collarbones, travel down the center line to the abdomen, back up, out to the inner shoulder, the shoulder's nest. Rub this area in a circle. Turn the palm a little forward, spread the fingers, and then down the inside and up the outside. This is the regulating direction, strengthening the function of the chi and channels. If there's any sense of excess, tension, you can still think of releasing it out through the fingertips. Shoulder. Down the inside, up the outside. I'm going to grab each finger, starting with the middle finger and working out ring finger, index finger, little finger, and thumb. Just giving them a little shake and just stripping out towards the fingernail. A little traction. Getting down to the abdomen, ribs, front of the hips, sides of the hips, lower back. That relaxed, light percussion. Break any stasis, clear stagnation. I'm going to cross my arms. This one looks a little less like massage or percussion. But to target that area between the shoulder blades that I can't readily reach with my hands. I'm going to push one elbow across the body and then push the other elbow across. So I'm trying to target that twist right through the shoulder blades. Same basic posture, chin in, head up, open the back, sink the shoulders. Let the weight flow down to stabilize the lower body so that the hips and waist don't get in on that twist. The other hand on top, do a few more, and even add a little bit of a weight shift. Just make sure release down through the hips, pelvis, down through that lighter leg. Keep the lower body nice and stable. Target that twist. And one hand reaching across the body, the lower ribs, other hand on top. I'm going to push back, palm relatively flat. Then cup the palm a little bit, with the fingertips drag along the rib spaces. Pushing back and dragging, pulling, gathering forward. Now the turn of my body targets just a little lower. Still not much in the hips or waist, targeting the area just below the shoulder blades. Area particularly associated with the liver in Chinese medicine. So right at the level of your anatomical liver. Push and pull or push and drag on the other side. Shoulders still stay relaxed and sinking. And then reach one arm up across the body, the opposite shoulder, other hand on top, push diagonally down right through the center of the body. Turn a little bit. So the turning of the body goes opposite to the movement of the hands. So bringing the body to the hands rather than doing the work with the arms. Where firmness is on the way down, to come up very light. Releasing excess down, opposite side. Shoulder to opposite hip. Through the center of the body. The twist is a little more focused at the waist level now. It's still rolling from the top of the spine down, articulating every part. Sinking the weight, letting the tailbone drop under the body, keeping the hips and knees a little flexed so that the lower body isn't moving around too much. Now the hands at the lower back, relax fist again. This time I can just slide them up and down if that's easiest. I can even get down into the area around the sacrum and the back of the hips. Chafing movement helps warm things up a little bit. The knocking I did on this area could go as far as your arms will comfortably go, down along the sacrum. But we can also do a circular movement. Again, I'm going to turn my body. So it feels like that subtle turn is driving the movement of the arms. Trying to keep my shoulders as relaxed as possible. Now the twist gets right into that lower back area. Back of the hips and pelvis. Go one direction and then try out the other direction. Pushing down the back of the leg. Again, slightly padding the area around the hip bones. And up the thighs. I'm going to push down the outside of the legs. Pull up the inside. As I bow forward, think of that bowing coming from the top. Bend the legs a little bit so that we're not straining the lower back at all. As I come up over the hip bones and back down again. Release down from the top, Release up from the bottom. Like gently compressing the spring and then releasing it up again. Release from the bottom, and then from the inner legs down, around and up over the hip bones. And the legs, this is the counterflow direction. The first direction was that strengthening and regulating direction. This one is the clearing, dispersing, draining direction. Release from the bottom. Bring the feet together about 5 fingers distance apart. Squat down a little bit, bring the hands to the knees. Just circle around the kneecap. Again, the body can move a little bit, almost like I'm using my knees to massage my hands rather than the other way around. So my pelvis is going to stay centered over my feet, but the knees are going to circle. Chin is a little in, lift the crown, open the back, and prevent me hanging my weight on my back. Start to feel that area around the kneecaps warm up. And I can squat down however far is comfortable. Could just be an inch. Press the legs gently back. And then I'm going to circle the hands the other way. See how this gets down into the feet and even up into the lower back, abdomen. Press back. Body width again, sitting down, just slightly into the hips and knees. And use that little sitting down movement to bring the hands up to the navel. Palms are centered over one another. And then by turning my body, I circle my hands. And when I turn to the A side, the hands end up on the B side. When I turn to the B side, hands end up on the A side. So I can even just do a few side-to-side movements to get the feeling of that coordination before turning it into a circle. It's a small circle around the navel at first, but gradually widens. So the hands rise up on one side of the abdomen. Think of the palms spreading out a little bit. Helping to move and circulate chi and blood throughout the abdomen, throughout the whole body. If you like to count, the official number is 36. But we pause at the top. Let that movement, that internal movement, settle a little bit. And then I start back the other way, turning my body, hands sink down. Circle is gradually shrinking back toward the navel. And this time I give a little extra attention to how my hand cups a little bit each time it moves through the lower abdomen. It descends and comes to the center. Gathering and cupping, we think of gathering the chi and blood back to the center of the body, the lower abdomen. Gradually arriving back to the navel. Count 36 turns. I want a magic number. Then sinking down very slightly, letting the hands settle down just an inch below the navel. So now the base of my thumbs overlap my navel. Center of the palms is a little bit below. So in the basic posture, just allow the breath to collect there. Chin in, crown up. Back spreading, chest center gathered inside. Shoulders sinking, tailbone sinking into the body. Thighs rounding slightly. Weight dropping straight through the feet, even front to back, inside and outside. With the tongue slightly lifted up into the roof of the mouth. With the tailbone similarly slightly lifted up into the pelvic floor. And just let the breath gather in the lower abdomen. Eyes not wide open and staring and not shut, just slightly lowered, heavy lidded, or half open. Rising up, releasing the arms down. We want to do one more. Palms should be nice and warm already. Just massaging the face up the center and to the outside. And then as I come down and in, a little lighter. And I can drop my head into my hands slightly. Help relax and loosen my shoulder. And then lift the head and the hands come down, very light and passive. So washing the face in the main direction is up and out. The palms flattening a little bit. And then subtly gathering in very light contact. Afterwards, if it's especially the beginning or middle of the day, the best thing to do is take a little walk.